On this episode of 6th grade math, we are going to talk about area. So we are actually going to be solving area this time. So area is always going to be our key word in a problem. It's going to literally say area, and it is a key word that tells us to WTF. Write the formula. So anytime you see the word area, you are going to WTF, write the formula. All right, so another thing you need to know is you never have to remember the formulas. They are always going to be on your star chart. So here's a picture of our star chart. It says area right here. We can go ahead and ignore the volume for right now, and these are our formulas. So for a triangle, instead of working with 1/2, we are going to mark out that 1/2. And I want you to think, if I cut something in half, how many pieces do I have? 2. So multiplying by 1/2 is like dividing by 2. So for a triangle, we're going to mark out 1/2 and put divided by 2 instead, because dividing by 2 is easier than working with a fraction. Rectangles and parallelograms, notice they don't have a 1/2 for their formula, so we don't have to do anything to it, but I do want to also add the word square, because squares have the same formula as a rectangle or a parallelogram. And then notice trapezoids have that 1/2 again, so we're gonna mark out that 1/2 and put divided by 2 instead, okay? And then again, multiplying 1/2 is like dividing by 2, because if I cut something in half, I have 2 pieces. So let's go inside and actually start solving. So the first shape we're going to talk about is a square, okay? And hopefully we know that squares, all the sides are the same on a square. So it says, what is the area? And again, it's going to say area of a square shown with side lengths of 11 centimeters. So if one side is 11, that means this side is 11, this side is 11, and this side is 11. So area of a square, we are going to WTF, write the formula. So A equals BH. So A equals BH, and we know that's multiplying, and my base is 11. My height is also 11. So we have 11 times 11, which is 121. And this is centimeters. And since we are doing area, it's going to have a little 2. So hopefully we remember from exponents, we say that is centimeters squared, or square centimeters. So if you see that little 2, that means we're working with area. All right, let's move on to rectangles. So rectangles, unlike squares, one of the sides is longer. So it says, what is the area of the rectangle shown? Each square is 1 unit. So that means area of a rectangle, WTF, write the formula. So rectangle is also A equals BH. So I'm going to write the formula. That is always our first step. And that tells me I need a base and a height. So my base would be this down here. Okay, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it says those are units. And then I also need a height, which would be this right here. 1, 2, 3. So 3, and then I'm going to abbreviate units there. So, and then I just plug it into my formula. My base is 8. My height is 3, and my formula says to multiply. 8 times 3 is 24. And then again, it is called units, and since it's area, it is units squared. And that is all we are doing. You take the formula, you write it down, plug in your numbers, and solve. You do what the formula says. All right, triangle. We never use, what? Do we remember this from our last video? We never use the slants. okay? So mark those out. So looking here at my triangle, what are my slants? Because I have 2, 11 and 8. So I'm going to immediately get rid of those. I want to find the area of a triangle. So go back to the front and let's write down our formula. So we have A equals BH divided by 2, because we changed the 1/2, and we know between the B and the H is multiply. So I need a base and a height. So which one's my base? The 12, good. And then my height, remember, we can find the dotted line or the right angle. So 10 is my height. And then let's plug that in. So base was 12. So for B, I put 12 times H is 10 divided by 2. All right, and then now we actually need to solve. And since I have multiplying and dividing, we can think of our tower. What would go first? Multiplying and dividing, we do left to right. So multiplying first. We would have multiply, then divide. So 12 times 10 is 120. And then I still have to divide by 2. And then if I divide by 2, 120 divided by 2 is 60. And notice on this one, there's no measurement. So I'm just going to use units again. And those are squared. And that would be my final answer. Okay. All right, let's go to parallelograms. So parallelograms, remember that's like a rectangle that's been squished. So parallelogram, remember it's got 2 sets of parallel sides. So that's a parallelogram. First thing, write the formula. So we want the area of a parallelogram. So go back to the front, find your formula. It is A equals BH, which is base times height. So do I have anything I can get rid of? A slant. What's the slant? 7. Good. We're going to mark that out. Now, which one's my base? Base is usually at the bottom. I don't have a bottom. So my base would be directly above, because that would be the same thing. So my base on this one would be 10. It's just up in the air. Okay, and again, remember our trick for height is to find the dotted line and the right angle. So 6 is my height, and then we just plug it in. So base is 10, height is 6, and we are multiplying because that's what my formula tells me. 6 times 10 is 60, and on this one they used centimeters, so centimeters squared. All right. Last one we are going to work with is a trapezoid. So a trapezoid has 4 sides, and I like to think about it, if I was a person, okay, if I was gonna walk up in here, and if I fell down in here, so now I'm down here, if I was gonna try and climb these walls, I couldn't because they're going up. So if you fall into a trapezoid, you're trapped. There's no way out. So that's kind of how I remember a trapezoid. Okay, so let's write the formula for the area of a trapezoid. It is A equals parentheses B plus B, H divided by 2, because remember we got rid of that 1/2, and we know that between there we are multiplying. Remember, the little 1 and the little 2 don't really matter. So this formula tells me I need a base, another base, and a height. So let's go fill that in. Do I have any slants? Yes, what is it? Good, 13. So now I need my bases, base bottom, so base, base, and then I have my right angle and my dotted line for my height. So let's plug that in. So 20 plus 30, those are my 2 bases, and you have to put those back in parentheses. Now, some of you might be thinking, does it matter if I switch those? Does it? What's 20 plus 30? It's 50. What's 30 plus 20? It's still 50. So it doesn't matter which order you put your bases in. It doesn't matter. Okay? Height has to go for the h though. So the height is 12 divided by 2. And then again, we need to think back to our tower. What are we going to solve first? The group. So I'm going to do the group first. That gives me 50. And then I'm going to rewrite the problem. Okay, now I have multiplying and dividing. We go left to right. 50 times 12 is 600 divided by 2. And then 600 divided by 2, hopefully we know that is 300. And again, I used centimeters, so that is going to be centimeters squared for my final answer. So big things to take away. Write the formula and solve one step at a time.